Percy Bysshe Shelley wrote Ozymandias in 1817 and it was first published in Examiner in 1818. It first appeared in the book from the Shelley's Rosalind and Helena Modern Eclogue with other poems. In the poem, the narrator relates what someone else described to him about pieces of a broken statue lying in a desert. Once a great symbol of power and strength, the statue has become a metaphor for the ultimate powerlessness of man. Time and the elements have reduced the great statue of pile of rubble. Ozymandias describes an unusual subject matter for Shelley, who usually wrote about romantic subjects such as love, nature, heightened emotion and hope. But Shelley was also a political writer, and Ozymandias provides insight into poets' view on power, fame and political legacy. Ultimately, the poem shows that political leadership is fleeting and forgotten, no matter how hard a ruler may try to preserve his greatness. This poem is widely anthologized in etc. Shelley kept company with an impressive array of writers, poets and philosophers in his day. Among these was a poet and a novelist named Horace Smith, whom Shelley admired for his ability to write and effectively manage his money as well. It was not uncommon for poets of that time to challenge each other to contests in which the two poets would select a topic to write their individual poems. Poetry की बेटे 5th semester BS English. Okay. Their poems and submit them to some sort of judging, often for publication. Shelley and Smith agreed to write separate poems, and Shelley got published first and Smith later. So this poem was written out of a contest that he wanted to fight off with Smith. Now let's look at the text itself. एक दफ़ा टेक्स्ट पढ़ लेते हैं. नीचे आप जाएंगे तो इसी डॉक्यूमेंट में दिया हुआ है. I met a traveller from an antique land who said, 2 vast trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lips and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor will those passions read which yet survive. Stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed, and on the pedestal these words appear: my name is Ozymandias, king of kings. Look at my works, ye mighty in despair. Nothing beside remains around the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and the level sands stretch far away. हिस्टोरिकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट में जो वो बात कर रहा है वो सिंपली बता रहा है कि रोमांटिक मूवमेंट में इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन थी, फाइनेंशियल बर्डन्स थे, डिफ़िकल्टीज थी, different revolutions were there, and these revolutions not only brought in despair but also brought in a lot of hope as well. So this mix and match, this binary was very much prevalent. The romantics elevated the perceived value of individual as well as nature and the wild. That is another tenet of romanticism, that individualistic thought process was focused. Romantic writers tended towards emotional expression that often cycled between ecstasy and despair. आपको याद होगा कि हमने ये भी बात की थी कि romantics are always comparing and contrasting between two things. एक उनका बाइनरी हमेशा चलता है. शैले की बात करें तो यहाँ पर बाइनरी जो बात वो करेगा वो होपलेसनेस और होप वर्सेस होपलेसनेस की बात करेगा. ठीक है. The romantics had an interest in history and mysticism. Symbolism finds its way into much romantic literature, and they have optimism in it and much more. The optimism of the romantics was not always passive. However, many who were attracted to the romantic mindset were more easily swept through the movement. Byron, for example, fought for Italy against Austria and later went to fight against Turks with Greece for independence. He died in Greece from illness during the war. Romantic poetry is regarded as accessible and beautiful for many people, and the prominent people that are there in the romanticism is Shelley, Wordsworth, Keats, Coleridge, Browning and etc. अच्छा, नीचे एक सेक्शन है बेटे जिसका नाम है Ramesses II. Now it is believed that Ozymandias is a poem which is referred to this particular ruler of Egypt who is called Ramesses II. ठीक है. Most literary scholars agree that Ozymandias is based on the ancient Egyptian ruler Ramesses II or Ramesses the Great. Smith and Shelley had read about him from the work of Greek historian Scythius. So this is important कि इन दोनों ने किसी और कान से इसके बारे में पढ़ा. And because politically they were not at the liberty to say whatever they wanted to say, so they gave it a touch that they heard a story from somebody else. तो पोइट ने जानबूझ के इसको सेकंड हैंड नहीं थर्ड हैंड एक्सपीरियंस बना दिया कि उसने सुना था. Although this is based on some reality, some real perspective is there, but because वो creditors हमेशा उसके पीछे रहते थे, गवर्नमेंट हमेशा उसे ढूंढ रही होती थी, so in order to save himself from another declamation or another sue, उसने कहा कि मुझे किसी ट्रैवलर ने बताया. दैट वुड बी वन पॉसिबल अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ दिस पर्सपेक्टिव. As a ruler, Ramesses is remembered for his many imposing monuments as well as for his roles as warrior, king and peacemaker who made Egypt a world power again. In the years before Ramesses' reign, Egypt lacked timber resources and other material possessed. Now, whenever we see wars taking place in any place in the history, there is a reason behind it. Maybe there is an agenda, they lack something, they need manpower, they need their land. कोई ना कोई रीज़न होता है. Ramesses ने देखा कि उसके पास इन चीज़ों की कमी है. किसकी? Material possessions and timber resources नहीं हैं. So what he did, that Egypt was also politically and militarily weakened. जहाँ वो रहता था वहाँ पे भी बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स थे. जंग सिर्फ दूसरों को बर्बाद करने के लिए नहीं होता, अपने आप को एलिवेट करने के लिए भी की जाती है कि हमें अपनी लैंड को, अपने लोगों को फैसिलिटेट करना है, तो लेट्स गो ऑन अ वॉर. तो उसकी वजह से जो वल्नरेबल स्टेट्स होती हैं, दे आर ऑलवेज एट द मार्जिन एंड दे कैन बी अटैक्ड एनी टाइम. सो व्हेन Ramesses II got to know that they lacked these timber resources and everything, and they saw that they are politically and militarily both perspectives से वो weak हैं and they can be overtaken and invaded any time. इन threats की वजह से what happened is that Ramesses' father, who is the Ramesses the first, Ramesses II is the child, उससे पहले Ramesses the first था, उसने क्या किया, उसने अपने बच्चे को यानी Ramesses II को कॉम्बैट एंड मिलिट्री में भी ट्रेन किया, so that you know if there is such a situation you can handle it well. So when he was 25 years old, he was trained for battle and military leadership as well. What happened is that Ramesses the first became Pharaoh, right? He was a Pharaoh. Pharaoh एक सुप्रीम लेवल की पावर होती थी कि हमारे बहुत अच्छे फोर फादर्स हैं जिन्होंने हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छी बेटरमेंट के लिए काम किया. अब क्या होता है कि Ramesses the first dies and Ramesses the second, the great Ramesses, he becomes the Pharaoh, and in return वो सब Pharaohs जो उससे पहले आए होते हैं उनके नाम मिटा के सिर्फ अपना नाम लिख देता है. That tells us that Ramesses II was a stubborn, extravagant, proud kind of a king कि जो मैंने किया है वही किया है. It's all about me, मेरी ग्लोरी है और यही है, और मुझसे पहले जो लोग आए हैं उनका नाम ही वो मिटा देता है. ठीक है, आगे देखें इस पेज के एंड पे. Ramesses' work indicate that he associated himself with the sun god Ra. The sun imagery compelled the Egyptians to give Ramesses greater loyalty. As you know, romantics के लिए it's common to refer to any Greek or Roman mythology, and this is no different. In this one we can see that the character that he is representing, Ozymandias, which is a direct or indirect reflection of Ramesses II, Ramesses believed that he is equated or associated with the god of sun, which is called Ra. Therefore, people being people, the followers, the conformists, they blindly followed his lead, and whatever he said, they used to do it because they used to associate their leader one with the god of sun. The sun imagery compelled the Egyptians to give utmost loyalty to the ruler. Historians and archaeologists consider the two rock-cut temples at Abu Simbel to be among Ramesses' most impressive surviving structures. So not only this statue that we are going to read about, Ramesses II made a lot of statues about himself in different places, और उसमें से दो उन्होंने बताया कि they are still surviving. The temple of Amun-Ra and Ramesses features 467-foot tall statues of. So there are 4 statues जो 60 फुट लेंथ के हैं और वो बहुत ज़्यादा है. अब ऐसा शख्स जो अपने बारे में स्टैचूज बनवाता है, ग्लोरीफाई करता है, टेल्स अस अबाउट मेनी थिंग्स दैट ही इज़ वेरी, हम जो उर्दू में एक वर्ड नहीं होता खुद सरसा है, ही इज़ फुल ऑफ हिमसेल्फ, ही इज़ सो प्राउड ऑफ हिमसेल्फ. आप में से ऐसा कोई है? दैट्स इज ऑल अबाउट मी एंड मी माई सेल्फ ओनली. हाँ होगा, ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता. हमें पता होता है, पता है somehow we know हम कितने पानी में होते हैं. Ramesses II knew, that's why he removed all the names of the other Pharaohs. He was jealous of them. Although he achieved the same goal, he became a Pharaoh, the guiding light and everything, but he couldn't handle it. Anyways, Ramesses even sought to construct a new Egyptian capital near his birthplace in Delta, Eastern Delta. The city was named Domain of Ramesses Great of Victories, but little of this city remains today. So he made a city out of it. अपने birth place के करीब उसने एक अलग city बना ली कि मेरे नाम से. लेकिन till this date nothing remains because civilizations they come and they go, and that has happened over here as well. Next paragraph देखिए. Ramesses is remembered as a powerful and accomplished king who brought strength and stability to Egypt. He was skilled at international relations while also reinforcing his status among his own people. He died after 67 years of rule. He was buried in the Valley of the Kings, but robbers stole from, discredited and burned the tomb. After being rewrapped and then moved twice, the mummy of Ramesses is now in Cairo's Egyptian Museum. So it's there somewhere in the Spain. अब आपको थोड़ा सा हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड भी पता चल गया है. नाउ लेट्स गो बैक टू द टेक्स्ट एंड इट्स पॉसिबल इंटरप्रिटेशन. Line 1 to 2. In Ozymandias, the reader is receiving the information of the poem second hand because it says that I met a traveler from an ancient land and he told me about a statue, which means the poet Shelley is trying to dodge the creditors and the people in charge, that this is not what I think. बिकॉज आपको पता है ना कि शैले पॉलिटिकली बहुत इन्वॉल्व था, एक रेडिकलाइज्ड पॉलिटिशियन को फॉलो करता था, गॉडविन को फॉलो करता था, तो वो इस तरह की चीज़ें लिखता था. इस पूरे पोएम का क्रक्स ये है दैट नो मैटर हाउ मच हार्ड वर्क यू डू, हाउ मच वर्क यू पुट इन, हाउ मच गुड ऑफ अ किंग यू आर, योर ग्लोरी हैज़ एन एंड. एवरीथिंग हैज़ एन एंड. Every glorification, every self-glorification will find an end. Nothing is inevitable, not even the artistic value. Statue is supposed to last forever, right? Lekin that can be broken as well, and when it is broken, the narratives can be changed as well. So your pride, your unnecessary, unjustified stubbornness and selfishness is of no use because it is going to die away. That could be a direct criticism to the politicians of the Romantic era, that you think that you are a little god yourself, but you are going to diminish as well, you are going to vanish, you are going to fade away as well. That could be one take that you can take home from this discussion, that Shelley criticized the entire political authority through this poem, that in the history, this is from Egyptian history before Christ, which means बहुत पहले से, कि अगर इतनी बड़ी सिविलाइजेशन, इतना ग्रेट विक्ट्रीज वाला Ramesses II कैन नॉट मेक इट टू दिस डे, हु आर यू टू थिंक दैट यू आर imperishable? So that is the direct romantic idealistic criticism that Shelley is trying to draw upon here. In Ozymandias, the speaker describes what someone else told him. The speaker is merely a go-between, relating information from traveler from an antique land to the reader. This antique land is either Egypt or Greece. यहाँ पर हम इसको इजिप्ट लेकर चलेंगे. बहुत सारे सोर्सेज में आपको दोनों देखेंगे. Shelley does this to increase the distance between the mighty figure that once was Ozymandias and the present. Of course, the more faded the memory is, the more less impact it could have, the less importance it would have. Not only does the poem describe the rubble that once was his kingdom, but the speaker is not even looking at it. For example, the speaker that the poetic persona is referring, I met a traveler, he told me about a story that there was a statue in the desert, and the onlooker did not even look at the statue for like पूरे glance के साथ भी नहीं देखा, पूरी attention के साथ नहीं देखा. उसने कहा हाँ एक पड़ा हुआ है statue, टूटा हुआ statue पड़ा हुआ है. So this is a direct diss at that this is your worth. When you were alive, you were so proud and full of yourself and you did not let people approach you. Kings क्या करते हैं? दो किस्म के kings होते हैं. एक जिसका जो तख्ता होता है ऊपर होता है और आपको नीचे बिठा के आपसे बात करता है, और एक किंग जो होता है आपको टेबल के दूसरे साइड पे बिठा के बात करता है. ये वो किंग है जो आपको तख्ता या कुर्सी नहीं देता, आपको ज़मीन पे बिठा के आपसे बात करता है. वन हैंड डिस्टेंस रखता है एंड ही थिंक्स हिमसेल्फ टू बी सुपीरियर देन द पीपल. There are two reasons that a king could be this way. One is to keep everybody intact. अगर आप ज़्यादा फ्री करें तो आजकल का दौर या कोई भी दौर काबिल ही नहीं है कि उनके साथ आप फ्रेंडशिप करें. वो फिर आपको सीरियस नहीं लेते. हम अथॉरिटी को हमेशा स्ट्रिक्टनेस के साथ एसोसिएट करते हैं. अगर कोई प्यार से बात करता है, प्यार से पढ़ाना चाहता है या जो भी चीज़ें, हम उसे सीरियस नहीं लेते. हम कहते हैं हाँ ये तो आसान है, इसको छोड़ो, ये क्या कर लेंगे. सो रीज़न्स होते हैं किंग्स के ऐसा होने की वजूहत होती हैं, और वो रीज़न हमें पता है. Ramesses II was like this because he was in a vulnerable state. He could not have in-state problems. वो ये अलाउ नहीं कर सकता था, अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकता था कि उसके ही लोग आपस में लड़कर मर जाएं, क्योंकि बाहर से ऑलरेडी ये ख़तरा था. सो वो इस तरह का उसने डिस्टेंस मेंटेन कर रखा था. The emotional result is greatly reduced as when a student reads about the historical event or a piece of art rather than visiting it himself. Of course, मैंने फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल 2006 में कोई चीज़ विटनेस की, वो मैंने फिर 2009 में स्टूडेंट्स को बताई. उन स्टूडेंट्स में से कोई मेरा स्टूडेंट 2012 में किसी और को बताता है, और 2012 के उस बच्चे ने जाके 2016 के किसी और बच्चे को कुछ और बताया. सो वो जो एक इम्पॉर्टेंस है, इमोशनल अटैचमेंट है, अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, इम्पैक्टनेस है, वो फेड हो जाएगी. इसी तरह से जैसे ये एक जो एक सिटी हुआ करती थी सेपरेट, वो फेड हो चुकी है. इट हैज़ बिकम रबल्स. द पोएम बिगिन्स विद द स्पीकर सेइंग दैट he met a traveler from the antique land, which brings to mind the country like Greece or Egypt. This traveler told the speaker that in the middle of a desert there are pieces of an ancient statue. First the traveler described two disembodied legs. टेक्स्ट में सबसे पहले वो जिस पे उसकी नज़र पड़ती है वो है the separated, disembodied, disfigured legs which are lying out there separately. The legs are said to be standing in the sand of the desert. Near the legs, partially buried is the sand in the statue's broken face. These two parts, the legs and the face, are at opposite ends of the body, so the resulting image is one that is chaotic, inhumane and unintimidating. Now please understand, एक majestic king था जिसके, अब आप इसको स्टैचू की तरह मत सोचें. Think about it, this scene, this image as a human. कि एक मेजेस्टिक किंग है, उसकी टांगें अलग कटी हुई पड़ी हैं, टॉर्सो यानी बॉडी पार्ट अलग पड़ा हुआ है, और जो हेड है वो हाफ सैंड के अंदर है और हाफ बाहर है, और उस पर जो रिंकल है वो आपको बाहर दिख रहा है. दैट इज़ अ वेरी केयोटिक, इनह्यूमेन साइट टू सी. व्हाट अबाउट अनइंटिमिडेटिंग? देखिए, जब वो एक रूलर था, वो एक किंग था, उसके मर्सी पे हंड्रेड्स ऑफ पीपल, आर्मी थी, सब उसके कहने पर चलता था, तो एक इंटिमिडेटिंग शख्स था. इंटिमिडेटिंग कौन होता है? जिसका रोब हो, जिससे डर लगता हो. लेकिन अब जबकि वो पार्ट्स में पड़ा हुआ है, इट इज़ सो अनइंटिमिडेटिंग, अनमूविंग, अनबॉदरिंग. इट्स जस्ट अ स्टैचू, ब्रोकन स्टैचू इनटू 3 pieces. That is the worth of a ruler. That's what Shelley is trying to say over here. On the broken face, the traveler could see the expression. It was one with the frown, wrinkled lip, and a sneer of cold command. Cold command suggests that the ruler was a tyrant. Who is a tyrant? यानी एक डिक्टेटरशिप क्वालिटी थी. ऐसे फ्राउन क्या होता है? ये जो आपकी ये जगह होती है बिल्कुल सीधी हो जाती है, ऐसे करके जो देखते हैं. मेरा तो बनता नहीं है फेस, ऐसा है नहीं. इसको आपने इमेजिन ऐसा करना है कि यहाँ पर फ्राउन है, रिंकल्ड लिप्स सजेस्ट दैट ही वाज एजेड, ठीक है. और रिंकल्स तब भी आते हैं जब आप बहुत सीरियस रहते हैं या हमेशा गुस्सा करते रहते हैं या बोलते हुए फेशियल एक्सप्रेशंस को बहुत, जैसे इस वक्त मैं यूज़ कर रही हूँ, यूज़ करते हैं, तो रिंकल्स आ जाते हैं. एंड स्नीयर cold command that the sculptor who made the sculpture itself made this statue by keeping these, and that tells us that the king himself wanted the sculptor to keep those expressions because he associated himself, he wanted to represent himself through those expressions, that I had the command, मेरे पास rope था, मैं intimidating था, मैं ये था, मैं वो था, ठीक है. The sculptor was very precise in his craftsmanship. Why? Because he made all those wrinkled lips, वो sheer command cold, वो सारा बहुत clearly उसने वो बनाया, creating a very complex and realistic facial expression. The overall effect of these features is harsh. The traveler himself comments that the sculptor clearly understood the driving passion and ambition of his subject. अब देखें, again, kings जो होते हैं या तो बहुत ही वन साइडेड होते हैं, प्लेन होते हैं, गलत डिसीजंस ले लेते हैं, और कुछ होते हैं वो इतने एम्बिशियस होते हैं, इतने पैशनेट होते हैं दैट दे कैन टेक डिसीजंस वेरी करेक्टली और रॉन्गली एट द सेम टाइम. तो ये जो पैशन और एम्बिशन एक किंग के फेस पर होता है, उसको उसने कैप्चर कर लिया, इनग्रेव कर लिया ऑन द पीस ऑफ स्टैचू. In fact, the traveler suggests that the passions yet survive stamped on these lifeless things. वो जो passions, वो जो ambition थे, वो statue तो एक lifeless पत्थर, एक wood है या जो भी जिस भी material से ये बना हुआ है, वो तो lifeless है, लेकिन वो जो ambitions हैं, they are still surviving, वो अभी तक जिंदा हैं. Mindful of lifelessness of the broken pieces of statue, the traveler can still sense the passion that the sculptor strove to preserve in the face. The traveler also notes the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. अब हाथ भी अलग से टूटा हुआ पड़ा है. अब देखिए किंग क्या करता है. किंग के पास तभी किंगनेस है, तभी वो रूलर है जब उसके पास रयाया है. अगर वो एक टायरेंट बनेगा, लोग उसे या तो छोड़ के चले जाएंगे या अटैक करेंगे. So what he's saying, he's humanizing this we can say intimidating ruler into becoming a human. कि उसने फीड भी किया और उसने इसी हाथों से मॉक भी किया, इसी हाथों से अपने लोगों पे उंगली भी उठाई और इसी हाथों से उन्हें खाना भी प्रोवाइड किया. So he's trying to humanize, which tells us maybe Ramesses had no choice but to behave this way so that his people stay in check and they do not wander away or scatter away. ठीक है, कि उसने पिरोहा का नाम हटा दिया, उसने unnecessary कोई भी बात हटा दी और बहुत ही डायरेक्ट हो गया वो. This refers to the powers of the king's hand to gestures his command, all of which reinforced his position of authority over his people. His hand mocked his people, he kept them well below him so that they could not threaten him. Yet at the same time, the ruler was human. He had a heart that made sure people were fed. So humanistic quality उनको दे दी है. Are you bored बेटे? नहीं समझ आ रही? आ रही है? Okay. वो थोड़ा सा लगा कि आप परेशान हो गई हैं. Ozymandias used his power to an extent to care for the needs of his people, whether in an attempt to be good steward of his subjects or to ensure that his rule would continue to be maintained in the favor that he would get from the people. वही बात है जो मैं आपको बताने की कोशिश कर रही थी. दो वजूहात होती हैं, एक कि लोग मुझसे डर के रहें और ज़्यादा हल्ला ना करें, दूसरा कि मुझे उन्हें प्रोवाइड करना है. The next lines, the last thing that the traveler describes about the statue is the pedestal on which it stands. जो भी स्टैचूज़ होते हैं उन्हें एलिवेट करने के लिए एक नीचे पूरा बनाया जाता है, उस पर कुछ इनग्रेविंग्स हैं, कुछ लिखा हुआ है. The pedestal contains the words that Ozymandias wanted to communicate to his generation and those that would come after him. These words reflect his arrogance and his selfishness and his pride in himself. It reads, "My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look at my works, ye mighty and ye despair." Now this is the irony over here. उसको लगा कि चलो मैं मर भी जाऊँगा, मेरा स्टैचू सालों सर्वाइव करेगा और लोग देखेंगे, लेकिन वो सिटी ही नहीं बची, वो सिविलाइजेशन ही ख़त्म हो गई. So that is the message that Shelley is trying to put out there, that the political arrogance, political wrongdoings, political corruption and extreme power has an end in one way or another. आपको लग रहा है आप बहुत कोई majestic चीज़ कर रहे हैं? No, this will see a darkness one day. The next lines, These words are intensely ironic and provide the springboard into most of the thematic material of the poem. After all, as the traveler describes, all around the pedestal is nothingness, a colossal rock. Colossal क्या होता है बेटे? बहुत बड़ा. यस, न्यूमरस. कोलोसल बहुत ह्यूज. डेजर्ट बहुत बड़ा होता है. तो वो कह रहा है बचा क्या एंड में? अ कोलोसल रेक, रून्स, डिस्ट्रॉयड मटेरियल. कि तुम्हारा बचा क्या? एक टूटा हुआ स्टैचू और रेत और सैंड के नीचे दबी हुई सिविलाइजेशन. दैट इज़ योर एंड. So that is the message that he's trying to. A colossal wreck of an old statue stranded by an endless sand is all that remains. The landscape is vast and barren. जो एक point of life में बहुत सारे लोग occupy करते थे, worship करते थे, followers थे, they are no more. Nothing lasts forever. Not the statue, not the artistic value, not the passion and the ambitions, not what you did and what you did not do. कुछ भी नहीं बचता. दैट इज़ द इंटायर मैसेज ऑफ द पोएम. अब 1 मिनट लें, एक दफ़ा दोबारा देखें. इफ़ यू नीड एनी हेल्प, एनी एक्सप्लेनेशन, प्लीज़ गो अहेड एंड आस्क.